Hey, how you doing? I'm Dane Butler, and I'm here at the Form Factor showroom in North Hollywood at Amp Shop Bass Exchange, and came in today to pick up a beautiful instrument that I had Form Factor make. Now, most of us know, and you're aware, that Form Factor has been in the amplifier game for a couple years, probably about 6 years now. We've been in the amplifier game. And so this is actually the brand new BI1000 with 2 DIs and a headphone jack output. So really neat that we have it here in the showroom. Awesome amplifier. These amplifiers, if you haven't heard anything about them, very true to tone, very little coloration, and just beautiful, beautiful tones. And it's one true 1,000 watts. Usually it's actually more about 1,200 watts is what it puts out. They're modest in saying 1,000, but tons of headroom, very light, Class D amplifier. Amazing. By far, out of my experience, my favorite in the industry. And that's what I use. I have 3 of them, so I use them all the time, all over the place. And just amazing amplifiers and bass cabinets. And so a couple years ago, they got into the bass making business and started making basses. And this bass I'm holding right now is brand new. I just received it to my specifications. This is a Wombat Special, and this is just a beautiful piece of art. We have a flamed maple top on a alder body with a maple neck, and then the bird's eye maple fretboard. Beautiful, very beautiful piece of art here. We have Hipshot tuners with AlBridge bridge, or AlBridge parts on the bridge. The tuners from AlBridge as well, and then the actual pickups are from AlBridge as well. So this is actually the very first pickups, to my knowledge, that they've put out, and it's in this bass. So we've never heard these pickups before. I have been noodling around a little bit today here in the shop on this bass since I'm here to pick it up. And so I have dialed in some things, but I'm just going to share with you kind of my process of how I picked it up and started playing it. And we'll walk through the process again together. And so when I picked up the bass, everything is dead center. So balance dead center, bass dead center, mid dead center, treble dead center. And so I just turned the volume up and I started playing without messing with anything. And so this is just the bass as it was handed to me, and this is the tone it gives us. So already it's just, the tone's dialed in. It's like my goodness, the responsiveness is there, the sustain is there. It's just the bass sounds amazing. It blew me away when I started playing it. Just the responsiveness. The harmonics sound like a bell. Of which a fun note is the saddles here are actually from an Orthodox bell from a church. And so that's why it does sound like a bell, because the saddles literally came from a bell. But and that's another point on this bridge. There's just so much rebound on this bridge. It talks to you. The bass communicates with you. It gives you a lot of feedback when you're playing it. It gives you tons of feedback on your fingers. It's incredible, incredible, incredible instrument. So. Wow, okay, so let's go through some tone options that I would normally just go through on any bass that I play and just start trying to figure things out. But already this is amazing tone. Amazing tone. Okay, so let's first of all, I love singling out the bridge pickup, so that's where I'll go first, is bridge pickup. Just as haven't touched anything, everything's still set on the tones here, bass, mid, treble, all the same. Okay, yeah, you can definitely hear the difference. It's got a really nice, soft, smooth tone. Now let's boost the bass a little bit, bring the treble down a little bit. keep the mid where it's at and see what this produces. Again, I can bring that treble up a little bit, bring the mid down a little bit with this back bridge pickup. I don't know what tones we're going to produce. I mean, I'm just messing around and see what we can end up with. See if we end up with something we like. Ooh, I like that. Ooh. Slow that down for everybody there. Woo. My goodness. Woo, let it talk. Sounds amazing. My goodness gracious sakes alive. So this is where this is I wish you could be here right now because this thing is wow. Okay, bring the bass down a little bit. I'm just barely touching these tones, barely touching them. And again, I'm just pulling out what sounds good to my ears and the way that I play. But everybody's going to be different, you know, in terms of what they're looking for in their tone. But so far, sit in for a second. Wow. That chord. Wow. Oh, this bass is amazing. My goodness. Okay, enough. Let's go with kind of a traditional P bass. Again, I brought everything back to middle. We'll single out the neck pickup here and see what kind of tone it produces. Okay, that's cool. Let's bring the treble down a little bit on it. Maybe bring the mid down a little bit. Just single out the bass and see what kind of subtones we can get with this P pickup sound. Now, of course, this is a jazz pickup style, and these are single coil pickups, by the way, so just so you know that. But they are designed for low impedance and high output. So this is what we're getting. Let's just see what that front neck pickup sounds like. That does the job. that is nice. Again, that's the neck pickup. Amazing. Now we're back to dead center and bringing everything back up to where it would be. And it just comes out. Okay, so let's see what, well, I don't slap very much, but let's see what the slap tone sounds like. So already very present, very full. Let's do a little bit of this. We'll bring the treble up, boost the bass a tiny bit, maybe bring the mids down just a little tiny bit. See what it sounds like. Woo! Haha! Yeah, that sounds good. You hear that high end? Woo! My goodness. That's amazing. Wow, this bass just already what I've been sitting here with is three distinct different tones. Three very distinct different tones, but this bass itself just sounds unlike any other bass I've ever heard. I don't know how to describe it to you, but it's amazing. There it is. There we go. Oh man, it's beautiful. Oh, want to hear some muted tones? Let's play with some muted tones. Yeah, I mean, it just, everything's there. By way of just so everybody knows, I'm using the Diodario Pro Steels. So that's just a common string. But they sound great on this. Hey, thanks for hanging out, guys. And man, this bass is amazing.
Mr. Butler, let me ask you something. I know you're a big fan of sub-bar or dual coil pickups, which you use on most of your basses. How can you describe sound of this single coil versus to the whatever you have, and is there any difference or similarities?
I have a lot of basses and a lot of different pickups. And so with these single coils, what I notice is the difference is they're behaving more like soap bars. I mean, if you want to know the truth of the matter. But their output reminds me of like a soap bar. But their tonality reminds me of a single coil. So, but they're very unique. Very unique pickup. They have that clarity of the single coil, but the output of a soap bar.
As we know, the form factor using special type of pickups for these particular basses pretty much sort of kind of experiment. It's a first bass which they put those pickups. They made them not like a traditional Alnico or ceramic or like those active pickups or stuff like that. They're using special type of permaloid type of material to create this type of pickups, which gives you very interesting overtones when you're using with the tone controls, which none of the pickups which we know produce. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, let me see if I can get that overtone. It really comes through in the chords. So when you start chording, I'll try to actually get it here and kind of go more towards the tone of a bass that I would play. So usually when I play, I roll off the front pickup just a tiny bit and do a little bit more presence on the bridge pickup. So we'll see what we can, if I can get it to do it here. So it's like if you hear the chord in your ears, okay, the chord is present, right? But that overtone almost sounds like a chorus, almost like a little tiny chorus sound or a tremolo. It's really unique. It's almost like I don't know, like a bass harp. Wow, sounds amazing. Wow, so yeah, those overtones, it really does come together in those chords. It's almost like a little built-in chorus tremolo. Sustain, it's just so unique. I don't know how to put it into words, but it's almost like a built-in chorus or tremolo.
I also noticed when you're playing, you got enormous amount of sustain,
Yeah.
which any other basses usually could not produce. Do you think it's due to the pickups or due to the AlBridge by itself, or maybe combination of both of those guys?
Maybe a combination, but I know for sure because of the bridge. I mean, I've put this bridge on 3 other basses now that aren't form factor basses, and so it's almost like the best way I can describe the way this bridge sounds is I have a F bass from built in 1991, 1992, and the bridge is a hunk of metal. I mean, it's huge, it's massive. The bass weighs like 13 pounds because of the bridge, but that bass has so much sustain, and it's a massive bridge. But this bridge produces that sustain and maybe even more. And I think it has to do with the saddles, because these saddles are really seriously from a church bell. And so church bells are designed to ring out and sustain. And so that may be one of the reasons why this bridge produces so much sustain. But yeah, it sustains forever. I mean, the sustain on this instrument is it's incredible. Incredible. I mean, listen to that. I didn't hit the strings hard. I just barely tapped them. I just played them. And it's still there. Still there. It's still present. Yeah, I still hear it. It's still going. And so that's crazy. And that's all I did. Absolutely amazing. And so I don't know if it has to do so much with the pickups as much as the bridge, because I know I've put this bridge on other basses and it produces that same kind of sustain. And so, yeah, the bridge is it's incredible. I mean, if I could, I'd put on every one of my basses. I love this bridge.
As I noticed, that bridge has very wide barrels. So supposed to be maybe the different type of feeling while you're playing and how strings react and how actually you play, because small barrel has a little bit less real estate, which gives you this way more. So do you feel any difference in those?
Definitely. One of the main reasons besides sustain that I put these bridges on my other basses, anytime a bass needs a bridge, I put an AlBridge on it, okay, always. And one of the reasons is because you get tons of feedback. I mean, anytime you hit the string, it rebounds. It almost sends your finger on a rebound. And so all that energy that you use on your finger on the downstroke, it forces your finger back up and you're already prepared for the downstroke. So it's not like you're having to work double. It's actually the strings actually help work with you. And I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. but I mean, there is a reverb. I mean, that's not a reverb. There is a rebound from that bridge that it naturally gives your fingers, and so it's nice to have that responsiveness. It's nice to have it's almost like the bass is talking back to you. It's really nice to have that. Very nice. So sweet.
Also, I noticed when you play in that bass with a little bit attack, not like a really hard attack, but you put in strings a little bit harder, it's sort of kind of sound almost like an upright type of bass, almost like a sound blooming, like you're using natural compressor or like some pedal, whatever. Do you feel like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel whenever you hit that attack, yeah, it's not overbearing, it's not overpowering. I mean, it's not like it's booming. It's not booming like that you would normally get, like boom, boom. It doesn't make sense. But you can still really hear the note and the tone, even when you're really trying to attack the strings more and making those emphasis. I mean, it really comes to life. Yeah, amazing. Just it gives so much life to what you're playing.
How do you feel low B? Because some basses have lack of the low B. It's always off of the balance with other strings. And sometimes you need to play harder or do something, settle different. How's that feel here?
Well, let's play it. Let's see what it sounds like. You hear, and it is low, it's deep, but it's so nice, tight. You don't lose it. None of the tone gets lost. I mean, it's there. Very equal. If you want to hear all the strings, very equal. Very equal. It's just, you hear every string very well balanced.
What I notice right now, you've been playing low A. Usually on most of the bass amps, your bass is supposed to fart like crazy. And I can hear the clarity of the low A. Do you think it's due to the form factor, amplifier, and cabinet design?
I do think that out of all the cabs that I've played before, and I'm not going to go through the list of the names that I've played, but out of all the ones I've played, to keep that low A present while maintaining the tone, the tonality, and just being true to the instrument, I haven't heard, and I'm trying to be as nice as possible, but I haven't heard any other bass cabinet produce that type of clarity and truthfulness to the note and the tone without any coloration or anything. I mean, it's holding the A. It's not, you're not losing any of that tone. It's there. And so I'm really, really impressed with how well the note holds together and doesn't, like you said, fart out or flap. There's no flapping. There's no distortion in the tonality of that string. It's there, it's present, it's tight, it's fat. Really nice, really, really nice. And then when you bring in the higher register, basses and the cabs, the amps. I mean, I've played everything, and I own, I guess I can go through the basses that I own so you know where I'm coming from. MTD 635, Ken Smith 6-string, F bass, BN6, F bass, Lane Signature, the 2 reverse P pickups, Yamaha JP Signature bass, Leva Coppola, Wilkins, and these are all basses that I love. Every one of these basses I love. The ones that I've just mentioned to you, I love. And I play them all, and this is right alongside all the best of the best. But this produces a just very unique tone that I haven't heard from anything else. And maybe it's the pickups. I mean, we've had these woods combination before, but have we had all this in combination before that we have on this instrument? No, we haven't. Never. This is the very first set of AlBridge pickups. I mean, the bridge, everything is unique to this instrument. Never had it before. And it's just a very, 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 very unique tone. I mean, just that chord. I mean, it's amazing. Everything's there. It's present. It's beautiful. It's just, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. It's a beautiful instrument. And the tones it produces is just, it's that overtone and that chorus, and it's gorgeous. It's like a bass harp. I mean, this is probably the best way you can describe it, as a bass harp. And I don't know how much this is getting translated through the speakers here, but it's beautiful. So.
Let me ask you something. You have such a big collection of beautiful basses. How can you make your choice what to play? Because you're playing pretty much every week, several days a week. How do you choose bass? How can you play them? Like, what's your idea, or what's your choice of right bass?
I sub them out every gig. So there's a gig here, I'll play empty, then I'll play the other. I have another form factor 6-string special, Wombat special that I play. I'll play that in, and I'll just rotate them. I'll rotate them in and out, but I always find myself going back to any recordings or different things. I'm generally using I have 3 basses that I love recording with, that I love tracking with. I'll probably add a 4th to that, which is probably the F bass, but I love tracking with Wilkins, Coppola, and Form Factor. I mean, it's the go-to basses.
Let's say the situation like that. You go with your collection and flying through the Pacific Ocean, whatever, and suddenly that plane crashed and you ended up on the desert island, whatever, and you have only get 2 basses as your choice. Which 2 basses from whatever you have or you played, you can choose?
It's just like you gave me 2 choices.
2
choices. I still have yet to play this in a live gig. Okay, so live setting, I'm not yet set in a band with this bass. I haven't set in a mix with this bass yet. But if I had to choose 2 basses, that's really hard. But it would have to be right now, without knowing this bass, but knowing how my other form factor plays in the mix. Just with how beautiful this is and the work of art that it is, I'd probably have to say my Coppola and this bass would be my two picks. Now, after I play this live, it may be my Coppola and my other form factor 6-string that I have with my buddy Howard Uliate, his pickups in that, a little different wood combination, alder, flame maple top with a purple harp board. So it's on Instagram. You can see I'm playing it somewhere on Instagram and YouTube. But that bass is amazing. So if I had to pick 2 without playing this one live, which I know after I play it live, it's gonna blow me away. But it'll be this one and probably the Coppola would be the 2 that I would hang on to.
One more question. I know you have some kind of injury on your left arm, and it's probably hard for you to play. So you're playing 6-string bass right now, which is very wide. It's very hard to play even with a normal hand. But after the injury, how can you manage that? And how that neck feels to you in a way of how friendly it is, or maybe you struggle with the playing 6-string bass? What's your feeling?
So yeah, he brought that up, and I can demonstrate how I just don't have the rotation that I used to have after I shattered my wrist. It's just not there. And so a couple things contributed to me going 6-string, and that was having to change my wrist position was one, so it's easier to keep me in one position and have the full range of sound register on the fretboard versus having to come up here and change the position of my wrist. So this was easier for me. Also starting to tune down a whole step, it was nice having that high C to increase the register of frequencies. Now, in terms of playability, out of all the 6 strings that I have, the playability, the form factors play the easiest, hands down. It's like butter. I don't have any issue whatsoever playing these 6 strings. The Yamaha, I think it's like a 19 mil spacing and just a super wide neck. I mean, that's a little bit harder to play with my wrist, and I feel it, and I have to stretch my wrist out after I get done playing because it likes to freeze up on me. But with these form factors, no, it's seriously the easiest neck to play. I don't know if you can see the radius here, but yeah, it's beautiful and super easy, very shallow. It's not real thick, and then also if you look at the bottom side here, the curvature is super nice and soft, and where the frets come in to meet the neck, where you would actually feel them contact your fingers, doesn't hurt. It feels great. I've had basses before where the frets actually kind of hurt your hands as you're holding on to the bottom and playing. But this is just, it feels so good. Another thing that's so unique about this bass, it's so light. For a 6-string, it's super light. I don't know what the poundage is, but I would guess probably about 8 pounds. Something like that, maybe 7.5. It's not heavy at all. It's actually very light, which is very nice, especially when you're sitting there playing for hours and you have it strapped over your neck. It's super nice to have something light like that. So, but yeah, easy, super easy to play. I love them.
Dane, also, how do you like those control knobs? Because pretty much, you know, we selling basses for a long time, and honestly, every time I pick up some kind of new bass, I'm tired to figure it out, which knob is which, and explain the customers. They getting lost. So we asked Form Factor Audio to make it easier for everybody. So even if some kind of guy come in who doesn't have enough knowledge about basses, he'll be figuring out like what kind of knobs, what you do, and what can you expect to get from them.
Well, I have a guy that plays a lot of my basses, and because he doesn't play them regularly, he doesn't know which knob does what. So for him, whenever he picks up the form factor, it's super easy. It's right there. Volume. V for volume, BL for balance, B for bass, M for mid, and T for treble. So it's all right there, very nicely labeled and put into there, so that way you know for sure that this knob does this. Whenever I turn this bass knob up, I'm going to hear more bass. When I turn this mid knob up, I'm going to hear more mids. And when I turn this treble up, I'm going to hear more treble. So it is super nice to just know for sure that, oh, I want the volume. Ah, there it is. Hey, I got volume. Awesome. Love it. So it's super nice to have the labels on top of the knob so you know for sure what it is you're doing. So yeah, very, very helpful.
And by the way, these preamp has a couple of push-pull knobs. I don't know, you noticed that or no? It has active-passive.
Well, I know for sure we got, yeah, active-passive.
And the mid control gives you high mid, low mid.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Now, I just learned something. Okay, I don't even know what this sounds. Let's try passive first. I haven't messed with this at all, so let's just see what it does. Okay, so that's tone without preamp. Essentially, that's just the tone of the bass. It sounds really good. Really good. Let's single out that bridge pickup. Very, very nice. Very nice. Let's single out that neck pickup now. Oh, it sounds so much like a P pickup. Yeah, that's just the bass, no preamp at all. Wow. Wow, amazing. Okay, so that oh, ouch, don't do that again. So turn off your volume before you turn up the preamp, or yeah, so that way you won't get that pop. All right, so now let's see if I can do this mid switch without a pop. Perfect, no pops on the mid switch. Now let's see what this does, okay? So that's mid, right? Okay, so let's put that dead center. Now let's mess with this. That sounds like low mids. Oh, you get a whole different tone. Wow. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Very cool. Wow. That's cool. I like that. Now I wonder if you leave it there, if it's going to stay there. It does. Cool. That's really neat. That's amazing. Okay, I was actually not balanced. Let's do that again. Okay. Okay. Ah, that's cool. Yeah, very nice. Wow, okay. Amazing. Woo! Woo! Wow, okay, that's cool. I'm sorry, I kind of got lost there for a moment. That's pretty cool. Well, that's really cool. All right. I don't know what to say. That's amazing. That's just wow. Ah! I'm not making this up, I promise. I'm not doing this for a show. I'm really shocked. It's just like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's crazy. Incredible. Man, you get that responsiveness. Amazing. Incredible. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, if I had to pick a bass, this would be it. Yeah. It just, the tone options are never ending. It just keeps going and going and going and going. Incredible. Wow. I can't believe, it's amazing. Wow, amazing. This bass is gorgeous. Not only does it look beautiful, it sounds beautiful. My goodness. Wow. Amazing. Gorgeous bass. Wow. Okay.
I have last question for you. Before we
Okay.
end, I know, thank you very much for your time and for your good demo, but I have a question. What do you think? Is it like a combination of this bass and form factor doing this sound, or can you play any bass through the form factor amp to get the sound, or can you play any amp with this bass to get similar sound?
So that question is kind of like got a lot of different answers, but let's do the simple answer, okay? The simple answer is for this particular tone in this particular room, no. You can't. For this whole setup, you get this tone. Now, I can play this bass on another amp and I can get tone that I like out of it, but it's not going to be exactly this tone. I can play another bass through this rig and it's not going to be exactly this tone. But what this setup does allow is for 0 to basically no coloration in tone. So what you're hearing is the bass. You're not hearing anything here. All this does is amplify the tone of your instrument. That's all it does. When I set into these amps, I just automatically set it to a little tiny scoop to where bass, treble, dead center, and then coming off about 9 o'clock or so is the mid. And so, I mean, it's just pretty much just straight even across the board on everything that I play. So no matter what bass I play, that's my setup on the amp. I leave it there. I don't touch it. And then all the other bass tones produce what they're intended to produce. And so, but again, it's what my ears hear. It's the tone I produce. And every bass player gets this place to where we produce our own tone. So I've learned that the form factors give me my tone that I'm looking for, and very true to the instruments with very little coloration. So to answer your question, no, you're not going to get this particular tone out of anything else but this particular setup in this room at this particular moment. But you can get close, but not exactly like this.
Okay. Mr. Butler, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for this beautiful demo. Very, very informative. And we're always glad to see you. And we'll see you again and again. And
yeah.
We're glad.
I gotta make another bass now. Wow. Yeah, I gotta do another one. There was something like this. Oh, yeah. I mean, when do you stop? I think I need to see a psychiatrist or something. I got issues. I'm addicted to bass. Addicted to bass. Do they have rehab programs for bass players?
Yes, they do. I heard they opened it up, but due to Corona right now it's on a hold. But pretty much, yeah, they've been talking about that.
Woo! Amazing. Incredible. Incredible.
That rehab program calls NoHo.
Yeah. No, I need rehab after now. Yeah, oh, this is sweet. Oh, this is sweet. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you guys who are watching this, come to the amp shop, find a place that carries this equipment. Check it out for yourself, okay? Check it out for yourself. I was brave and I had Form Factor make me a 6-string custom, my first one with them. And I didn't know what would be produced, but it was amazing what came out. Still one of my favorite basses. And this one is just on a whole nother level. I can't believe. I cannot believe this bass at all. I can't believe it. So go ahead and trust. Come and just do it. Put in your custom order, pick out your woods, and just make it happen. And I'm just totally shocked. I have not been let down yet with these results, okay? I have not been let down. So come, I know that the amp shop here in North Hollywood carries all of this equipment, and you can put together your custom order if you want from here. I'm not sure on any of the other dealers around, but you can go onto the internet, check out Bass Exchange Amp Shop, find them on Google, and reach out to them and ask them about this stuff. And come check it. If you're in the area, come check it out for yourself. I mean, that's the best thing that I can recommend. They got a brand new one, fresh from the factory today, a 5-string. with alder body and a purple heart fretboard and maple neck. That sounds amazing, just incredible, gorgeous. Like I want to take that one home too, but I'm not a millionaire, so I just have to take this one for now. But come check them out, play them, see for yourself, okay? Just don't take my word for it, but check it out, play it, see for yourself. And if it's your tone, it's your tone. And maybe it's the thing you've been looking for as you've been on your tone search, but they are definitely unique. There's no other bass quite like it that produces this kind of tone. Every bass is kind of unique, but this is really unique and special in its tone, what it gives. So yeah, check it out. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Once again, Form Factor Wombat Special, beautiful instrument, piece, a work of art, and there'll be many more to come. And they just keep producing amazing basses. So check them out. I guarantee you will not be disappointed.